Okay, so deep in Ethiopia, a geological giant just woke up. And I'm not talking about a gentle stir. This thing roared. For the first time ever in recorded history, it erupted, and it sent this huge ash cloud literally across continents. So, how can a volcano in Africa possibly ground a flight all the way over in Pakistan? I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, right? How does that even connect? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to piece together right now. All right, to really get how big of a deal this is, you have to think about one number: 12,000. 12,000 years. That's how long this volcano has been quiet. We're talking dormant since the Stone Age. No one, not your great-great-great-grandparents, nobody in recorded history had ever seen this thing erupt. And that's exactly why what happened next took everyone by complete surprise. Okay, let's get into it. What is this volcano that just decided to cause all this chaos? Where did it even come from? So, the Haley Gobi, it's not what you probably picture, like one of those pointy, cone-shaped volcanoes. Nope. It's what's called a shield volcano, which means it was built up slowly, over thousands of years, by these fluid lava flows. But here's the kicker: its location. It's sitting right on top of this critical junction where the African and Arabian tectonic plates are literally pulling themselves apart. So this eruption, it was basically a violent release of all that incredible pressure, and it happened in a place we just weren't really looking. All right, so the volcano blows its top. But that's a local event, right? How did it become a global headache? Well, it all comes down to the incredible journey that ash cloud took. Get this, 45,000 feet. That's almost 14 kilometers, straight up. To put that in perspective, that's not just high, that is the exact altitude where commercial jets fly. The volcano didn't just spit out some ash, it basically injected a giant, dangerous cloud right into the middle of the sky's busiest highway. And you can see the whole journey right here. It's this crazy four-step trip that shows just how far this thing went. First, it erupts in Ethiopia. Then, the winds just grab it and pull it east, right over Yemen and Oman. From there, it jumps across the Arabian Sea, and boom, it's over India and Pakistan. Before you know it, they're issuing alerts in cities like Delhi and Gwadar, thousands of kilometers away from where it all started. Okay, so we followed the cloud, but what did it actually do when it got there? Let's dig into how this one eruption turned into a massive crisis for a whole region. Now, the first thing you gotta understand is that volcanic ash is not like the soft, fluffy soot from a campfire. Not at all. It's basically a dangerous cocktail. You've got two big problems: tiny microscopic particles of silica, think of them like tiny shards of glass, and toxic gases, like sulfur dioxide. And each of those poses its own unique threat. So first up, let's talk about the danger to airplanes. Those little silica particles are an absolute nightmare for a jet engine. They get sucked in, and they can actually melt and fuse to the engine parts, causing it to just fail. On top of that, they blast the windshields like sandpaper, making it impossible to see, and they can even mess with the navigation systems. This is the exact reason, flights had to be canceled. It was just way too risky to be in the air. And the threat wasn't just for planes either. As all that stuff started to settle out of the sky, it turned into a huge public health issue on the ground. I mean, breathing in those tiny particles can really mess up your lungs, and that sulfur dioxide can get into the water supply. All of a sudden, in cities thousands of kilometers from the eruption, the air itself became dangerous to breathe. And the problems just kept stacking up. Think about agriculture. A thick layer of ash can literally smother crops, blocking out the sun and messing with the soil chemistry. But it gets even bigger than that. All that sulfur shot into the atmosphere can act like a giant mirror, reflecting sunlight back into space and causing things to cool down temporarily. And this sparked major concerns in India that the eruption could actually delay the monsoon season, which, as you know, is absolutely critical for millions of people. All right, let's pull back for a second. We've seen what happened and how it happened. But what's the big lesson here? What's the takeaway on a global scale? This whole thing is a textbook example of something called a transboundary event. And that's really the key idea here. The eruption wasn't just Ethiopia's problem. It became a crisis that didn't care about borders. It hit air travel, public health, agriculture, you name it, all across the region. It's just a perfect and kind of scary example of how connected our world really is. You know, this event really sent a jolt through the scientific community. Experts from the USGS and the UK called it a massive wake-up call. And it's a powerful reminder that dormant doesn't mean dead. There are so many other volcanoes out there just like this one, sitting quietly that we just aren't watching closely enough. And that leaves us with a final, pretty unsettling thought. This whole international incident was kicked off by one volcano that was silent for 12,000 years. It really makes you ask, how many other silent giants are out there, just waiting? And are we ready for when the next one decides to wake up?